happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. And I was thinking about that and thought, while going to get the car, I could talk about that. But before that, look at that. Look at that. Through there too. And I thought, what a profound statement, because it's true. How often are our thoughts negative? Because usually we feed it or feed ourselves negativity and don't know how to act when it occurs. But think about that while you take a look at this. Look at that, folks. That's my backyard. Yeah. And take a look at that. Absolutely stunning, huh? But if we don't cultivate positive, constructive thoughts ourselves, when we're faced with negativity, we won't necessarily know how to deal with that. And the universe is full of feeding us that. But yeah, we always think the worst in everything, even things having to do with us. But when negativity strikes, we can try to focus on what is good in our lives. And often we don't give ourselves credit for what is good in our lives. And we should do more of it. We always tend to look for the big score, the big wins, and sometimes the small wins in their aggregate makes up for our total happiness, I think, is what Marcus Aurelius is alluding to. And it's not easy to do, I know that, but it's a practice, right? We have to practice it in everything. And like I was alluding to, it's easy to do in a world where social media usually highlights the negatives and not often the positives. And because we get fed that, we regurgitate that. And it's not healthy for our overall well-being and for our sanity. It's a lot of time waste and distractions when we're fed just the negatives and we feed on it. But it's easy to do. Like I said, when that's all social media feeds us and that's all it's really not social media's fault, is it? It's really ours, because we can balance our intake. And often we don't do that. So we feel bombarded by social media, and social media in its full term is blamed for it. But it's really us. We have to balance our intake, and that doesn't mean necessarily unplugging. That just means, just like it says, balance. But it's not social media's fault. It's ours, because we can unplug. We just choose not to. And that doesn't mean not to be curious, as in to stifle our curiosity, because we think the things that we're curious about can only be found on social media, and that too is incorrect, right? So I'm not advocating for stifling your curiosity, but finding a balance and stay curious all the time, every day, really. I totally advocate for that. Yeah, I'm a total advocate for staying curious in any form, right? Keep asking questions. Someone's cooking and it's drifting all the way down here on the roadway. And I wanted to take this route because I wanted you to see that. Share that with you. But yeah, the happiness of our lives is the quality of our thoughts. And I would love to hear what you think about that, because just think of a time when you went with your eyes first, or I should say your eyes showed you one thing, and because of our human nature, you went with the first thing your eyes showed you, only to find out that with further investigation it wasn't true. And I posed it that way about our eyes because often we go with our eyes. It's the first thing in our defense mechanism is what we see, right? To advocate that that is a threat. But most of the time we do that. It's because of judgment, right? We're more judging who we see or what we see with just what our eyes show us. And I did another episode where I talked about a family member of mine seeing some homeless campers changing at the side of the road in an enclosed bushy area. And her first response was that, I bet you they're getting ready to go beg. And again, she went with only what her eyes, how you doing? Only what her eyes showed her, right? Which was homeless encampment, changing clothes. The assumption is, to her anyway, that they're beggars. So I asked the question, what if they're not changing to go to work? Needless to say, my question only garnered a nervous chuckle, and I was only joking, and even now I still don't see the humor in it. But I do get it. It's our human condition. It's what we do. All she had to go on is what her eyes showed her. But often we should just take what we call in the military that tactical pause and kind of ascertain truth with a little second guessing our eyes. Because as humans, our first thought, like I started out, is really always negative. Truly always negative. Negative about us and negative about others. And it's not fair to us, nor is it fair to others. So, what's the fix? I think I started with it, right? Cultivating good thoughts, even in the face of negativity and adversity, so that we can build that muscle memory and not be so quick to cast judgment or take sides, because we're forced to do that sometimes because of our own doing, right? Self-inflicted wounds. But cultivate cleaner thinking, I would say, and clearer thoughts. And one of the ways to do that is exactly what I'm doing. I could have opted to call an Uber or a friend to give me a ride to pick up the car. But I think straight line distance from the house, it's only maybe 2 miles. And one of the ways to it is this back way, the scenic route. So I figured I'd take this route, have a conversation, and show off my backyard a little bit. What do you think? I'm gonna just be quiet and show you what I can without infringing on anyone's privacy. So over there, the Koaloas, the mountain range that separates the east, northeast side of the island from the west side. It's called the Koloas. But think about that. The happiness of our lives is the quality of our thoughts. I think there is a lot of substance in that, and I hope our chat on the way over here kind of highlighted some of that. All right, so until our next conversation, as always, you be good out there, take care of yourselves, and we'll talk again soon. All right, we'll see you.